Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. No turning back, move on you, and made all the changes. I know I still want you. I know you still want. No turning back, move on you, and made all the changes. I know I still want you. I know you still want me too. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can do whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bleeding for your love. Bleeding for your love. You know what I'm bleeding right now? Pain. I'm bleeding out pain. We'll get into all that. It's the Hype Real Podcast. What's going on? What's going on? Live Reaction Sunday. We go live every Sunday, usually after the Browns game or usually after the first slate of NFL games. And then we go live every Thursday about 9 p.m. If we reschedule, make sure y'all follow us on all platforms. It's the Hype Real Podcast. Make sure you check in. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. It's the Hype Real Podcast at gmail.com. If y'all got anything y'all want to add in or y'all want us to talk about, I'm down for it. I'm open because I do it for the people. Man, I'm here for the people. Let me fix my my Browns hat. So you watched it. We watched it. I just want to get into the Browns. We're gonna talk about the Browns. We're gonna talk about the NFL. We're gonna talk about a little fantasy. I'm not gonna be here yapping your ear off all day. I just want to get to the facts, straight facts, and nothing but the facts. So help me. Y'all know the rest. So today was supposed to be a good day. I really thought that the Browns were going to be able to do a lot better than what they did. In the beginning, they did. But it seems like, after we got into the game, the second half, we just lost momentum. Shout out my main man, Mo. Mo pulled up. Johnny Blaze. You already know. We're going to be on there gaming later. You know what I mean? It's the Hype Real Gaming. Check that out, too. Follow that on Twitch. So the Browns lost today, 26-8. The score is a lot more lopsided than what the game actually was, in my opinion. Because it didn't start out like that. It wasn't supposed to be somewhat of the game. The weather was, inclement weather. It was cold. It was getting cold. It was supposed to snow. None of the snow happened. But a lot of the wind swirling around off Lake Erie and all that happened. So that threw a lot of things out the way. The kickers were having an issue. The people who were passing the ball, the quarterbacks were having an issue. Not Brock Purdy. He was killing us as far as not even passing, but his presence in the pocket is. I'm not afraid to say it was elite. it might be elite. Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft, Mr. Brock Purdy, his pocket work is elite. I don't think I need to pause that. But it started off good, 7-0. Then we got up 8-7. Then we let it this then it started to go downhill after they drove right before the second half and got a field goal up after the Browns defense couldn't stop a runny nose, with a tissue. And to be fair, that is, and I was talking to the inner circle. They said, I told them, I said, that's the first time I've really said that against the Browns defense all season, that they're not stopping anybody. And they look pedestrian. And I had to think about it. The San Francisco 49ers have good coaching. That, they have a really good coach who runs a very good scheme, and he's not afraid to run the ball. They ran the ball 20 times. Sure enough, they only ran for 53 yards, but controlling that much of the game via run, they ran it almost 34 times. They ran it 20 times with Christian McCaffrey. They ran it 8 times with Brian Robinson Jr. Total of 80-something yards between those two. So it's not like they were just getting away with it and the defense was just pedestrian, but they were just giving up gash plays when we had them 3rd and 10, when we got them 2nd and 12, and they couldn't touch Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was back there tap dancing on our whole defensive line. Myles Garrett was out of the game a lot more than usual. I don't know if he was hurt or if what was going on, but he was not in the game as much, adding that extra pressure on those drives where we really needed him. I seen him out on the 3rd down, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on maybe he's dealing with a nagging injury or what's going on. He got a sack. He's got 4 more to go to break the record, and then he's trying to get the all-time record, trying to get to that 25. He even has a road on his arm. So the defense wasn't bad, but this was the first time they looked normal in many, many weeks. And at first, in the first half, in my opinion, Shedeur Sanders looked very, very good against a defense that's ramping up over the past couple of weeks. San Francisco's defense has looked very good over the past couple of weeks, just doing what they're supposed to do without all of their hard hitters. Shedeur Sanders, my guy, my stand on heel, die on heel guy, first half, he looked good. He looked above average, which I can't ask too much from a rookie quarterback who was only second start, who was really just getting into the offense. The game plan looked good. He tried to take a shot downfield, but that was like the only shot he took downfield. I think he started off like 10 for 16 or something like that in the first half. He barely threw a pass in the second half. He ended up 16 for 25, 149 yards and a touchdown. I think the 16 for 25 is not really relevant with what happened. They had to throw the ball a lot because they were down by so many points. So running the ball wouldn't get them where they needed to be. And when the defense knows that you're just going to run the ball, then what are you going to do? I mean, you're just going to pass the ball. Then what are you going to do? You can't run the ball 5-6 yards in a cloud of dust to try to even set up a play action for Shedeur. We were pedestrian in the run. We did okay. My main man Mo tapped back in, and he's saying exactly what I was about to tap in and say. We need an O-line. We definitely do. Now, people still hold the Browns O-line to the tier of what it was when Chubb was around. We're not that O-line anymore. The inner circle, they said that we need to get, was it Bill Callahan, that old offensive coordinator who went to Tennessee with his son to coach? We need him back. When he was here, our line was elite. We was one of the top O-lines in the league behind like Philadelphia and a couple other guys. So if we can't get holes for this guy to run, Quinshon Judkins is just running 2 yards and then getting plowed. Pause. Now that's a pause moment. Before he can even make something happen, and he's hoping he can break a tackle. He ran the ball 23 times for 91 yards. That's 4 yards a carry, if you do your math. That's pretty good. But we can't just rely on him. If we need anything, we need wide receivers. We need guys who can create separation. It doesn't seem like anybody on our team at the wide receiver position can create separation for a guy to throw it to. We're throwing it in the tight windows every single time. And I also do believe we need to evolve our play calling. Kevin Stefanski is the orchestrator of what the offense is. Now, Tommy Reese is calling the plays, but it's still under the Coach Kevin guidelines. Chat just tapped in. He said, my man Mo said, too many hesitation moments where the ball should have been thrown, but when you have shaky line, it's hard to commit to passing. That's true. That's true. He's getting chased as soon as he's getting back there. You know, you have pressure in your face every time you step back. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I just think that we do need to solidify that we're playing. He's playing with two backups on the outside on the guard. You know, I think Conklin went down. He was out. Our center was out for a minute. He came back. So we need to solidify that line. And I think that if they really believe in Shador and give him a line in front of him, we can do some damage, especially if we can keep the core pieces of our defense. A lot of them are young and a lot of them are signed. Tap back into the chat. Main man J66N says special teams weren't playing smart. They weren't, but that's not the reason we lost this game. Now, that helped us lose this game, but I don't think that was the only reason. The big reason is second half, yeah, the line's shaky, but we didn't throw the ball at all. And every time we threw the ball, it was a quick bubble screen or it was a 5-yard slant. They didn't allow him to throw it down the field but one time, and he missed that throw, whether it be the air took it or whatever. But we got to take shots. Other than that, everybody's just going to stay crowded on the line, which shuts down the run game and which shuts down your short game. And then we're in what I call the Dylan Gabriel era again, because it's just short dump offs and hoping that the run game carries you and the defense can stop them, which they did, but you can only stop San Francisco for so long because they can execute very well. Now, don't get it twisted. Brock Purdy wasn't out there being, Joe Montana, Steve Young. He only threw for 168 yards and 1 touchdown. It's not like he was out there killing it. What killed us was him keeping the drives alive by moving his feet and just converting the 3rd and 14s. They were ready to play a knockdown, drag-out game of football. Now, we had some issues. We had a couple guys fumble. Larry Vadine, he had 3 fumbles. It said his show said 3 fumbles. One of them we lost. So they counted 3 of the times he lost the ball. He fumbled the ball. He lost it once. And then Fannin had a fumble and lost. So we lost 2. We lost 50% of the fumbles. But we fumbled it 4 times in totality. Shout out to the chat. My man Mo said, I'll take Nick Saban at this point. Would you take Nick Saban? Would he be a good NFL coach? I don't know. I would have loved to get somebody like who could turn the team around like a Ben Johnson. Coaching does a lot. I mean, it does a whole lot. The Bears were a shell-shocked, sad, sorry excuse of a franchise. They looked horrible. Then they got Ben Johnson. Right now, they're number 1 in the NFC because the Rams took an ugly loss to another team who got a new coach, who got Bryce Young out there looking like Bryce Young from Alabama. Shout out Nick Saban. So there is a silver lining in some of this that I still say we might have to make a coaching change because it's all about, the body follows the head. That's any walk of life, any way you think of it. So it all starts with management. Like my main man and Remember the Titans say, attitude reflect leadership, Captain. So, when your leadership is lackluster, that's what's the attitude of the team is going to be. We just definitely need to figure out, is Coach Kevin going to be the wave going in the next year? Now, the Inner Circle said we need to keep him because our defensive coordinator and our offensive coordinator are tied to the hip with him. And if he leaves, then the new guy's going to bring in their old guys. And especially the defensive coordinator has been developing the guys we have very well. We're able to rotate out linemen like crazy. Sure, we didn't get the pressure, but it was a lot of pressures. We didn't get the sacks that we're used to over the game, but we definitely got pressures on Brock Purdy. He was just able to cha-cha slide up out of him. I don't know what he was doing. He must have had his escape artist from Madden on Elite. It was insane. I've never seen him move like that. But, he is known to be able to move his feet. He's very good at breaking down coverage and finding the open man because the guys he were throwing to were uncovered. And that is something that we need to work on. I think that was the times we were playing zone. We need to play a lot more man. We're the best man playing team in the league. So with that being said, we definitely need to make sure that we play more man than we do play any of this zone stuff because we don't do well in zone. And I want to keep an eye on, like I said, Miles Garrett and see what the hell's going on. So let's keep it moving on. I want to keep y'all here. I know football's still playing. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. But let's get to the stats and then we're gonna talk about the rest of the games going on and we'll talk about a little bit of fantasy. Any Browns comments, anything that please type in because that's my squad. I ain't even gonna lie. So Judkins looked decent. 4 yards to carry, 91 yards on 23 attempts. I always say we need to run the ball more, but I think when you got Shador, who's going into the fourth quarter with no pass attempts since halftime, that's kind of bewildering to me. Like it's not like he was making bad decisions. He missed 6 passes at that, and one of them was a drop, one of them was an overthrow. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just being real. The play calling got very conservative when we came out at halftime and we were close in that game. It throws me off. Like, why would you want to all of a sudden be this conservative monster when what you were doing, being aggressive, was working? It was working. Why do we need to all of a sudden switch up what's working? Okay, so let's get into the stats. Harold Fannin leads our team in receptions. Harold Fannin Jr., the rookie. He had 3 today, 43 yards, 14.3 a catch, and a touchdown. Animal. He had 5 targets. He caught 3 of them out of 5. Jared Judy, 26 yards from our ex-receiver. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. You are a run after the catch kind of guy. You know, you're not a speedster. You came out of Alabama known for your hands. You know, you did catch 3 out of 4 passes. And that's my whole other thing. I can't really blame them because they didn't have a whole bunch of attempts until the end of the game when we had to throw the ball and we were fighting uphill just to try to hold it together. So my beef is if the pass game is working, let it ride. Let it ride. Shador was averaging six a throw, and that's only because and I'm not making excuses, it's just what happened. Because in the second half, he had to make some errant throws. He had to do some things that weren't the best for the situation. So with that being said, we are not doing too well as far as our play calling. And we just need to switch it up. Tommy Reese looked good in the first half, and we were saying, oh, these are new Browns, this, that, and the third. But something needs to shake. We need to really utilize our talent and not just keep a system. Okay, so let's get to the rest of the NFL. So let's get to these box scores. So the box scores for the NFL, the finals, we're just going to go over the finals. So the Jaguars beat the piss out of the Titans. No surprise there. The Titans are more of a bewildering cluster F of a franchise than we are. They are not good, and I don't foresee them being good anytime soon. Cam Ward, to me, was not worth the overall pick. Now time will tell, but right now he doesn't look like that type of quarterback. If you want to put him in the same bucket, you know, he has arm strength and he has some legs, but it's just that maybe it's the system, but he doesn't look good at all. Trevor Lawrence came alive. He threw 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers, welcome to Jacksonville, 90 yards and a touchdown. Texas beat the Colts. So everybody was talking about how the Colts were this just monster of a team this year. I don't believe in them. You know what? I don't believe in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has shown me things in New York that makes him look like he is a franchise quarterback, which is why they paid him and got rid of Saquon Barkley. Oops. But Daniel Jones can't carry your team. And if Jonathan Taylor isn't going off, then that team on that play action, it doesn't work because nobody believes in you. They went against the Texans, who are now 7-5 and right there in the playoff hunt, right there in the hunt for the number 1 seed in their division. And their defense is pretty top tier. Okay, the Dolphins beat the Saints. That's a garbage game. Tyler Shuck, rookie. And actually, the Dolphins were destroying the Saints in the beginning, and they actually let them come back. And that lets me know that the Dolphins are not as good as what they were showing, because to let a team come back and you're that far up screams just idiocracy and mediocrity in your game plan. Keep it moving. The Jets beat the Falcons. The Falcons are screwed. The Falcons are screwed, and I believe the Rams own their first overall pick next year. It might be over. Michael Penix Jr. won't be back in time for next year. They're leaning on Kirk Cousins. He had 234 and a touchdown. Bijan carried the team on his back, 142 yards and a touchdown. But when you got Tyrod Taylor out there making you look bad, you got problems. You got problems. The Cardinals beat the Bucks beat the Cardinals barely. The Cardinals, if they had an ounce of defense, like they had a defensive star, they would have won a lot more of that game. They have lost the most one-score games this year than pretty much any NFL team in the league. If not, they're number one in losing in one-score games. That's crazy work because you don't think the Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett back there would actually be competitive, but he's keeping them afloat. He's doing his job. He threw the ball 40 times. He had 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. What more can you really ask for? And he's the backup. Kyler Murray, the man they paid $1 million gazillion dollars, is somewhere sitting at home playing video games, which I don't knock video games. I love video games. Okay, the Panthers beat the Rams, and that's what I mean. A coaching change can do so much. The Panthers are now 7-6 and very much so alive in the playoff hunt. The Panthers. Bryce Young was going to be left for dead last year. They were thinking about, was this guy worth the pick that we gave up? Should we just go ahead and tank and get another guy? He is alive and well. Matthew Stafford, in the beginning, he looked not Matthew Staffordish. And that's crazy. You know, you have bad games, but this dude was hotter than fish grease all season. He still threw for 243 and 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. So the Panthers are on the upscale. On the uptick, should I say, of teams that were bottom basement and could make the playoffs. And then we'll go to, okay, the Packers beat the Lions. That was a great game. Jared Goff did his thing. The Packers are just loaded with talent, and they can do whatever. Now, another little tricky game for me was the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs needed that game. The Chiefs' run is over. They need to reload. They need to retool. They got the quarterback, but they need to retool. They got their ex receiver in Rushy Rice. They need another running back. They need some O-line help. You know, Travis Kelce is out of here. You know, he just needs to go ahead and let it go. It's okay. Go ahead and go on tour with Taylor Swift. Nobody's knocking you. But you're not going to win anything with that team. Now, they might make a run because they are champs. They have championship DNA. I believe in that. That's a real thing. But other than that, it's over. The Bengals beat the piss out of the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is hurt. Simple as that. He's not running. He's not doing what he normally does. He doesn't even look like Lamar Jackson. I think he's just out there out of pride. I don't know what the game plan that they're calling in. Derrick Henry is not doing what he needs to do. I think it might be over for Derrick Henry. I think he might have this season and some of next season, and then he's just going to fall off that cliff like a lot of great running backs do. It's not a slow descent for running backs. They just stop being great. But Keaton Mitchell, I think he's the future of that team. He has great top speed. He just needs to learn how to get his ball carrying vision a lot more tightened up to be able to see the hole and hit it when in the run game, you know, and he'll be just fine. Now, the Bears beat the Eagles and they're now number 1 in the NFC. And that's what I mean about a coaching change. Last year, you would never, ever think the Bears would be good. They didn't change up much. They got a different coach, a couple linemen, and now they're 9-3. Okay, they're 5-2, I believe, in their division. That's crazy, you know. And they're winning with their rookies. Monangai, the young boy, had 130 yards rushing. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying, Coach Kevin. You should be on the hot seat. You should definitely be on the hot seat. It should not be, oh, well, he might bring it back, or, oh, you got to give him a chance. No, you're on the hot seat, my brody. It might be over for you because there's no way that you got all these guys and this draft class that came in that is doing monstrous things. And then all of a sudden, you know, it just falls apart. So that's enough of my high horse on being about the Browns and about the NFL. Let's get in a little bit of fantasy football. I'm going to share my screen. So fantasy football has been tough for me. I've been battling injury all year. You know, sometimes I haven't made the best start sit decisions. I'm fighting for my playoff life. I'm going to bring it up. And like every league I'm in, I'm fighting for it. Even if it says I'm in the playoffs, I'm still fighting for my playoff life. Okay, right now I'm going against my main man, Bands. He just texted me and asked me what I'm going to do. I'm 5-7. I'm 4th. I'm right there still in the playoffs. It doesn't show I'm going to do much. I had a couple bad games. I had nothing go on with my main man, DK. You know, I had a suffering of whatnot. He's up right now. He still got Ingram and Shakir All I got left going right now is who? Hodgkinson and the Patriots defense. Yeah, it might be slow for the Poe. It might be slow for the Poe. Nobody showed up, and it'd be like that in fantasy football. If I lose this one, I'm probably out. But I'm still gonna keep trying to do what I can do because if other people lose, that'll still keep me in. So it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Chat just pulled up my main man Strong. He said Bears and Eagles, two trash QBs. I don't think Caleb Williams is trash. And honestly, I don't think Jalen Hurts is trash. I think Caleb Williams tries to do too much, and he has to get out of that college mindset of trying to make a play every single time. That's my whole thing with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams still thinks he's in college and he's the best athlete on the field. He had that same struggle. He wants to hold onto the ball, roll out the pocket instead of playing in the system. And Jalen Hurts, he's a coach's son. He's going to do whatever the coach tells him. If the coach says hand the ball off, he's going to hand the ball off. If the coach says I need you to use your legs, he's going to use your legs. The coach says we're going to throw it this week, he's going to throw it this week. There's no improvisation from Jalen Hurts. None. He just goes out there and executes the game plan. But how can you hate on that when they're winning? They lost to the Bears, and the Bears are hot right now. But my opinion is both of those quarterbacks are better than what the Browns have because they're more. I think Shador can be good, but off of pure talent and arm skill, right now, from what I've seen and what I know, Caleb Williams is better, and Jalen Hurts can be better. Jalen Williams is probably the best game manager in the league right now, and there's nothing wrong with that because Tom Brady won a lot of Super Bowls being a game manager. He didn't win it off his arm all the time. He didn't. It is what it is. I ain't saying he Tom Brady, but I'm just saying you can win off game management. Okay, my man Strong said Kevin Office is his game is trash. Oh, Kevin's offensive game is trash. It might be. And the thing is you know why it might be? Because we don't have the things that fit his system. If we had things that fit his system, it'd be different. But what we have needs to be adjusted to fit what the players are capable of and less about his system. He wants to run the ball a lot, control the game, throw it to the tight end off of play action. But the thing is everybody knows. Everybody knows that's what you're going to do. So it doesn't even matter if that's what you're going to do because everybody knows that's what you're going to do. And that's what's going to hurt us all the time, every time. So my whole beef is when you're playing like that and you know that you're just going to play action, then it's irrelevant. Or you know you're just looking for the flats. It's like that when you play any Madden game. It's over with. It's just you can't help it. You know, you can't help but if you're going to run the offense that they scout for it. So with all that being said, I do say there might need to be a change of regime for the Browns, but simple as that. Other than that, I do think there's a chance that we can switch things up. But if we don't switch things up and play to Shador's strengths, just like you didn't play to Lamar Jackson's strengths in Baltimore, they weren't a run option team in the beginning. They were just hard nosed football, but they switched it up because that was best for their team. And I think that's the problem. Kevin don't know how to switch it up for what's best for his team. Okay, back to fantasy football. We're going to talk about a couple more of these and I'm going to get out of here. So, yet again, getting smashed. Can't catch a break. Amon-Ra St. Brown went out. Other guys' team is just showing up. We'll see what happens as the late game slates come on. You know, with fantasy football, it's a finicky it's a finicky bee, if you know what I mean. You can't just expect it to be what you want it to be every single time because it don't work like that. So right now I'm just taking L's left and right. I think I'm on a 5-game losing streak. I had Amari Hampton hopefully coming back, but it didn't work out. So that's another league. I'm pushing towards the playoffs. He's got 3 guys currently playing with nobody left. I still got 4 yet to play and 2 currently playing, but I'm still projected to lose. But, you know, I'm going to keep fighting a good fight because that's what I do. Again, another league. I'm down, but not out. So we're going to see what happens. Guys aren't scoring. It's early in a lot of the games, but we just got to keep scouring that waiver wire. If you're on the edge and you're not going to make it, I say ruin somebody else's season. That's what makes it fun. And we'll just go from there. So fantasy football If you're doing good, great. If you're not, just keep grinding. You know, and you never know what could happen. Strong tap back in talking about these Browns because I said I'm always down to hear about the Browns. He said, you know nothing about this. Oh, you don't use your best wide receiver. You don't even use Njoku. I agree. It should be two tight ends set every trip. And Njoku and Fannin should be out there. Why is Fannin leading the team in receptions? Why? Why? You got Njoku who hasn't even seen a pass thrown his way in how long? So you telling me you can't get both of your who are the best weapons you have and Njoku and Fannin out there at the same time? That don't work. Njoku's not known for blocking. He's known for pass catching. My main man Strong said, we're dependent on nothing but rookies. True. So, and that's what I mean. Maybe, I don't know what the plan is. They always have a quote unquote grand plan. So with that being said, maybe they're just leaning on looking in the next season and building. Because you know the season is over, even though it says we're in the hunt and all the media phases and pages, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. So I really want y'all to really think about this Browns team is look towards the future, because right now it ain't happening. And I know we're always a team of maybe next year. Next year's our year. Look at all the talent we got. I think two things can be true. I think you can be leaning towards next year, and I also think that if you lean too far towards next year all the time, then you're never going to look at this year. So a coaching change might need to be needed. They might need a different voice in the locker room. Coach Kevin's been in here and he hasn't accomplished anything. I don't count the two coaches of the year as something that is a feather in his cap, because those were against when we had a weak season the year before, and then we had a weak schedule. When we have like this year, we have a very tough schedule, and you see what it is. In Vegas, we were projected to win, 3-4 games? I don't see Vegas being wrong too much here and there, but other than that, they're usually right on top of things. So that'll wrap it up. Browns took the L. Shedeur looked okay. The defense looked not elite. We had a lot to work on. Next week, we got a good game coming up. And who do we got next week? Who do we got? Let's take a look. Because this week, I was sure that we were going to be able to give San Francisco a run for their money, just simply because we're home. Next week, we got the Titans. Now, those are the games you got to win. The Titans are a dumpster fire even more so than us. So if we lose to the Titans, you're going to start hearing rumblings about Coach Kevin not being there next year. Because after that, it gets tough. And then you got the Bills, the Steelers, and the Joe Burrow Bengals. So you got two division games, which are always going to be difficult. And you got the Bills, who are going to looking to make a mockery of us because they've been struggling as well. So with that being said, if the Browns don't do what they need to do next week, then, it's going to leave a foul taste in everybody's mouth. We're 3-9. The best we could do was what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We go what? 8-9. That's not good. But if we can go 8-9, it would say a lot towards next year. Unfortunately, it would also save Coach Kevin's job. So think about that. If y'all want to win out, y'all gonna have to deal with Coach Kevin yet another year. So pick your poison and pick it well. Make sure. So we're going live this Thursday, 9 p.m. My main man Ray, 6:23 a.m. gonna pull up. My main man Kyle from the Warner Brothers podcast gonna pull up. We had the holiday last year, so we had to reschedule everything for a Saturday. I appreciate everybody who came in, showed love, and showed out. And yet again, we're gonna ride out to my main man Ray. 6:23 a.m. He dropped a new song. I love this song. I really rock with it. Bleeding for Your Love. I think it's something that's gonna pop. I think y'all need to check it out. It's on SoundCloud. Look up 6:23 a.m. That's the information right there. It's the number 6IX, the number 23 a.m. all one word. Make sure y'all check it out. I'm gonna play it for y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. And until next time, be good or be good at it. I appreciate everybody for pulling up and showing out. Till the next time. Peace.
Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, love. We can bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. No turning back, move on you, and made all the changes. I know I still want you, I know you still want. No turning back, move on you, and made all the changes. I know I still want you, I know you still want me too. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your love, we can do whatever. Somewhere in the future, I see us together, bleeding for your